Start.
All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting Winter Career Quest session. Thank you for joining us today. This session will be presenting with SkillStorm, one of WGU's valued employee partners. My name is Hank. I am an employee engagement manager here at WGU in our Career and Professional Development Office. Today, we are excited to explore the wide range of career opportunities what SkillStorm has to offer. They are a consistent collaborator with WGU, frequently reaching out to share new opportunities, new roles, and also coming back to celebrate some of the success stories of our WGU graduates that were hired with SkillStorm. Today, we are honored to have John Tansel, the Director of Veteran Affairs at SkillStorm, join us today. John has joined us for several incredible sessions in the past to share insight and information about SkillStorm and opportunities that they have to offer. It is always a pleasure working with John and the entire SkillStorm team that is also located here in Jacksonville, Florida. So with that being said, I'll hand it over to you, John.
Great. Thanks, Hank. Appreciate it. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for taking time out during the middle of your day for this presentation. Don't worry, it's not going to take a whole hour. My brief will be about 20 minutes, if that. And then obviously we'll have some time for questions and answers afterwards. Yes, I'm John Tansel. I run the Veteran Affairs program at SkillStorm. But don't let that worry you if you're not a veteran. I help out with SkillStorm on the university side a lot, which is how I ended up with the great relationship with Western Governors University. Because 70%, let's say it's probably more than that, more like 80% of the people that come to SkillStorm have no affiliation to the military. So don't let that scare you, that the fact I run the veteran programs at SkillStorm. If you're not a vet, it's you're actually in the higher percentage of people that come to SkillStorm. But anyway, so if I was going to tell you in one sentence what we do, we recruit and then we train people with computer science degrees that are have graduated from college with a bachelor's degree, and we then train you for a period of time. Usually, it's about 12 weeks. It's full time. We do we do pay you during the training. This isn't where you're paying us to get trained. We're going to train you. We're going to train you in a tech stack that our client has agreed to with our training team. At SkillStorm, the nice thing is the program that I'm going to talk to you about today is called Tech Force by Design, or TFBD, as we call it as an acronym. But Tech Force by Design is exactly as it sounds. We have customers, most of them are Fortune 100 companies that come to us and they need IT talent. But they need that IT talent to know a specific tech stack. Most people that graduate from college with a computer science degree, technology, but you don't know the specific business technology tech stack that a firm's going to need. They come to us and then they decide on what it is that, because we can train in 125 different technologies, they look at that whole list almost like a restaurant menu, and then they're able to decide what 2, 3, or 4 technologies they want a cohort to learn. And then we go out and recruit to that. The nice thing about that is we don't recruit anybody unless we have a job for you. We're not recruiting people just to train them for training's sake. We're recruiting you because we have a job to fill with one of our customers. And usually the cohorts that we have run anywhere from 10 to 20 people in size. The nice thing about that is if you're in a cohort, everyone in that one cohort, for the most part, is going to end up going to the same company as a SkillStorm consultant. So after the training, once you go on site with us, you're going to be working for the client, but you're a SkillStorm employee. I will now go over real quickly my background and how the heck I got here and met Hank and WGU. So I spent a lot of time in the military. I was in the Marine Corps, and I did have in the last bit of time I spent in the Marine Corps. I was in the reserves, not active duty. So I do have a civilian career also, and in the for the past 12 years, I have been running veteran programs for two different companies. I've been with SkillStorm for 5 years, and prior to that, I was with another company for 7 years, doing the exact same thing. It was college grads and military veterans coming into the IT space. Same thing. Had to be computer science major. Had to know how to code really well, and so I've been doing what I'm talking to you about for 12 years now. Anyway, I met Hank about 3 years ago, and we built a relationship up. So anytime we get cohorts, I make sure he's one of the first people I contact regarding any new cohorts we're trying to fill with talent. I will say that some of our clients, just to give you a heads up, some of our clients that we have uh, don't require any prior IT experience. Some of them want at least 9 months. So please be aware of that. Some of them do want 9 months of experience. The other thing I'd like to tell you real quick is that we've been in business. Skillstorm has since 2002. So we've been in business for 24 years. We are a TSSCI cleared facility. What that means is that we can obtain and retain security clearances for people, which is a nice thing to be able to do because our clients, some of them have both a commercial side and a government side to who their clients are, because most of our clients are huge consulting companies, and they some of them do a lot of the work for the U.S. government, and some of on some of the sides they don't. They work for commercial clients. So anyway, once in a while, if you're being recruited by SkillStorm, uh, you might have a recruiter say to you, "Please fill out this clearance form." It's a one pager, and it's basically to see if we can get you a clearance. It's a quick background check just to see if it makes sense to try to get you a clearance. And by the way, these aren't super like top secret clearances. Usually for the Department of Defense, it would be a secret clearance. For somebody like the IRS or the Department of Justice, those would be like what they call public trust, which is like the civilian or government equivalent of the Department of Defense secret clearance. Anyway, um, I wouldn't want anybody to be surprised in case the recruiter asks you to do that. Um, how I can explain to you how the process works. No, you don't. Just saw a question. You don't need the security clearance. We would get it for you, which is why you'd have to fill out the form. Um, by the way, if you're we're in the military and you have one, that obviously makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have one, like I said, 80% of the people we recruit have no affiliation to the military. So we expect you not to have one. Um, anyway, how the whole process works is you see one of our job postings or you see Hank send out a blast email that about an opportunity that Skillstorm has, and you go ahead online and fill out an application to Skillstorm, and that then gets sent over to our recruiting team. Our recruiting team will one of the recruiters will end up calling you up, and they'll talk to you about 10 or 15 minutes. And what they're really trying to figure out is uh, how good are your communication skills? They will ask you a few tech questions revolved around object oriented programming, OOP. If you answer those well and they've decided that you do have good communication skills, they will refer you over to take our tech screen. And that tech screen is going to be one of the most difficult 30 minutes of your life, probably. Um, and I don't say that to scare anybody. I just say that to prepare you. what the tech screen is, it's a half hour, it's a 30-minute oral quiz from one of our trainers. So you're on Teams, the trainer is on Teams, it's just the two of you. And for 30 straight minutes, they're going to ask you tech question after tech question. Please be aware that the pass rate for people with a computer science degree for the tech screen is at 38%, which means that 62% of the people fail. Um, Again, just like I said a minute ago, I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm saying this to prepare you. The recruiters are going to send you information to study, and please study the information like it's a final exam. Um, you have a computer science degree, um, and the individual is going to be asking you 30 minutes worth of follow-on questions are all revolving around tech. Don't say, "Oh, well, I remember having that as a freshman. I'll remember it." No, you won't. Not when you're under the gun, when somebody's asking you question after question after question. Please study the information. People that study the information and they treat it like a final exam, that pass rate goes from 38% to almost 80%. So please, when the recruiter is talking to you about the tech screen, please pay attention. Please wear what he tells you to wear. Usually for guys, uh it's a tie, a dress shirt, and a jacket, or suit if you have one. And for the ladies, obviously, it'd be the equivalent thereof. They want you dressed properly because when you're sending candidates over to our clients, which are all Fortune 100 clients. It's companies like Ernst and Young and PwC and Deloitte, and Accenture that they expect people to act professionally, and we can't send them mediocre people. And that's, by the way, why the tech screen is as difficult as it is. If indeed you pass the tech screen, the recruiter is going to call you up, and then um, they're going to say, "Hey, great job, you passed the tech screen." Now, the next thing in the order of business is that you will have the recruiter set you up on a sales screen. That's going to be an interview with one of the individual who has the client as their customer at SkillStorm. So it's the SkillStorm salesperson who has Ernst and Young or Deloitte or Accenture or PwC or Booz Allen as their customer, and they're going to want to interview to see you, see, are you going to be a good fit for his customer? Do you have the professional skills, and do you have the right enthusiasm and attitude, to do well on site with the client? Sometimes if and obviously the recruiter is going to call you back and tell you that went well or it didn't. But for argument's sake, let's say everybody did well. The next thing, it might happen, it might not happen. Sometimes the client, the customer, actually wants to be the last interview. And so once you pass the original interview with the recruiter, right? The 15-minute one. Then you pass the tech screen. Then you pass the sales screen with the SkillStorm salesperson that handles that customer for SkillStorm, and they give you the thumbs up. The client sometimes wants to interview you. Okay. Don't feel bad about that. Like I said, when you're dealing with very large, prestigious companies that uh, basically we have to do what they want to do. And then if that goes well, and by the way, each time the recruiter is helping you prepare for this, via mock interviews, via different hints he has about what the different clients are looking for, because obviously some clients look for other things that maybe the other client doesn't ask for, but they're going to give you hints and prepare you. And then if they give you a thumbs up, then now you're in that cohort. Um, so the nice thing about that is that even before you start the training with SkillStorm, for that particular tech stack that the client wants you to know, is that uh, one, you're going to know the tech stack. Two, you're going to know the location, and number three is you're going to know who the customer is. So a lot of the uncertainty is taken away. For those that aren't relocatable, that's a tough fit for us. We almost make it mandatory that everybody that comes to SkillStorm be relocatable, just because we don't know where the clients are going to want you. We'll know when they order the cohort, but we're not going to be able to tell you, oh well, you can stay in Jacksonville, Florida, when the work is being done in San Antonio, Texas, because a lot of the clients uh, don't have any remote work whatsoever. They have hybrid roles, most of them. If you're on a client site where you do need a security clearance, a lot of times that's 5 days in the office, just because of the information that you're working with uh, has to remain there. Uh, but even then, sometimes it's hybrid. And what I mean by hybrid is, it's usually 3 or 4 days in the office, and then usually I think you get to pick either Monday or Friday to work from home. 5 day work week. Now let me go back to now you've gone through all those wickets, right? All those hurdles you had to go through to finally get the thumbs up from the recruiter saying, "Hey, congratulations, we're going to send you an offer letter. You're in the cohort." Once we get that offer letter back from you, you're in the cohort, like I said, with it, another between 9 and could be 19 people, or anywhere in between. And the training starts 99% of the time. It's going to start on a Monday. The training is virtual. You do it from your den or from your kitchen table. The training is all day long. It is between 8 and 9 hours a day. We do pay you for that training. Uh, you're not paying us; we're paying you. We pay you $15 an hour to get trained. We realize that's not a lot of money. I realize that's not a lot of money, but at least it's something. When I'm talking to guys and girls that are in the military, I say to them, "Well, it's beer, gas, and pizza money," and we realize that. But at least it's something to get you through that 12 weeks. Okay, and anyway, so I will say that our training at Skillstorm is not good. It's outstanding. We train for 15 major universities, and we train certification courses for them virtually. And some, like, I'll give you a couple off the top of my head: Wichita State University, University of Nebraska, University of Tampa, New Jersey Institute of Technology. We teach Salesforce for them. Mount St. Mary's in Maryland. We also teach for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Cal State Fullerton, and Cal State Pomona. But anyway, these are the types of schools that these same trainers are training for certification courses virtually for them. They're the ones that are going to be training you. And so we have 12 of our own trainers, and obviously they have to be very good because we're preparing people to go work at some of the most prestigious companies in the world. I mean, some of the companies we work with, it's harder to get to go to work for them than it is for somebody to try to get into Harvard. It's less than 2%. So it's a great opportunity for you if you decide that you want to pursue it. It is a phenomenal opportunity. So once the training starts, like I said, it lasts for about 12 weeks. Everybody in that training class that makes it through the training, because obviously sometimes we get one or two that don't make it through the training, either academically or for other reasons. And but anyway, uh, once you make it through, you get about a week to get on site. All of the work, by the way, is I'll use a military term or military acronym. It's CONUS, meaning Continental United States. In other words, we're not sending anybody to Germany. We're not sending anybody to Japan or anything like that. It's going to be within the 48 states. Uh, and so I will say that most of our work is on the East Coast. Um, Currently, once in a while, we do get Gilbert, Arizona. Once in a while, we get Texas. I shouldn't say once in a while. We get Texas quite a bit. But if I was going to pick an area that we get a real lot of work, it's the Washington, D.C. metro area. Uh, and that is because, like I said, all the clients that we have a commercial arm and they have a government arm, and they're filling lots of government contracts. And so that's why we have a huge presence up in the DC metro area. When I say DC metro, if you've never been up there, it's basically Northern Virginia, the DC itself, and then Southern Maryland. And that's why I say the metro area. Um, anyway, so once that's done, and you graduate and you now know the tech stack that the client wants, you're going to go on site, and we give you about a week to get there. We do give you up to $1,000 to help you with relocation, and then once you get there, um, you're going to know uh, some other people just because you just trained with them, and you're all going to the same company in the same location, which is a nice thing that you're not going there blind, meaning you don't know anybody. Um, and like as an example, we're recruiting for a cohort right now for Ernst and Young, and it's going to be in San Antonio, and it's going to be data engineering, and that's going to start in the month of March. So if anybody is interested in that, please, when Hank, when you bring up the one pager. On the bottom of it is an email where you can apply, and it's also got a QR code that you can, put your camera over and I think you can apply via that. But anyway, by the way, we have other cohorts coming. I never know when we're going to get them. Our sales team is always working on getting us more business all the time. You know, an opportunity that we don't have today, I might have by tomorrow afternoon, and that's why it's always good to keep in contact with Hank. And other people at WGU in the career field, in the career services offices, because like I said, he's one of my first phone calls and or emails once we get a brand new cohort. Um, and So keep in contact. And just in the month of December, we trained. November and December, we trained um, about 75 people. So, we are the tech recession that's been happening for about 3 years is definitely starting to ease. We're starting to see more and more work, and we hope that continues, and for everybody's sake. But anyway, once you go on site, your salary starts. Your salary uh, for the first year, unless you're in a high cost of living area, and that'll be the DC metro area. I'll explain that in a second. But if you're going to, Gilbert, Arizona, or you're going to San Antonio, Texas, or you're going to Tampa, Florida, or you're going to, St. Louis, Missouri, or Battle Creek, Michigan, the salary is 27.65 an hour for the first year, which comes out to be about 54,000 a year. And then if you're doing well on site after the first year, you do get a $5 an hour bump up to 32.50 an hour, which brings you up to just under $65,000 a year for the second year. And then at the end of the second year, the client can either decide to keep you on that contract, or and obviously then will pay you more money because you have more experience, um, or they can decide that they want you to become a full-time employee, and we allow that to happen a lot. And we don't charge them any money for that. We don't charge the client a finder's fee, a commission, uh, a flip fee, as it's called. We don't charge them anything. So if you've done a great job on site and you've proved to them that you're that valuable that they want to make you a full-time employee, we clap and we say, great job. Talk to them. Talk to Ann Smith, talk to Joe Johnson. It's up to the client then to make that connection with you and offer you a good pay package. And that's really our goal. Our goal is that, we train you so well and you do so well on site for that 2 year period that, and you treat it, as I tell people, treat it like you're on a 2 year job interview, that they feel that you're so invaluable that they don't want you to leave. Um, and you know how hard it is to get good IT talent. So if you're a good data engineer, or if you're a good programmer, or if you're a good cloud technician for them, um, that's fantastic, and that's uh, credit to you that they don't want you to leave, and they're going to offer you a full time position. Um, and um, and that's really uh, the whole program in a nutshell. Let me talk about DC real quick, though. Because it is a high cost of living area. Um, we do offer the pay there. It starts at 32.50 an hour. Obviously, you're never going to get rich coming to SkillStorm. I'm 100% honest with you about that. I jokingly say the BMW dealer is not going to know who you are when you're working for SkillStorm. However, it is a great opportunity. You're going to be able to put a Fortune 100 consulting company on your resume. The fact that you've been working there for a period of 2 years, it is a door opener that you won't be you can't believe what a door opener our client base is. And I mean, and for your follow-on work, if indeed you decide to go off on your own. um and then the second year you do get a bump up in DC also, another $5. So just remember that in case the recruiter is talking to you about the DC metro area. And by the way, if you're going to the DC metro area, there's probably a 95% chance you're gonna have to fill out uh that clearance form, because of all the governmental work that's up that way. Um anyway, Anthony, that's about my whole uh, uh, brief. The one thing I will say though is that once you go to work for SkillStorm and you go on site, we have 19 courses we offer the colleges that we teach for. 19 certification courses. We have five CompTIA courses in cyber. We have two Pega courses. We have two Appian courses. We have two AWS courses, two Azure courses, two AI courses. We have, I'm probably forgetting something. Um, I think we have Java. Anyway, there's a total of 19. And when you go on site, we call you a stormer, right? Everything at SkillStorm revolves around a hurricane. If you ever see our corporate logo, which is this little thing here, it really looks like the circle of a hurricane that a meteorologist uses on his map, right? So we call you a stormer when you go on site. And once you're on site for about a month, we call you a stormer for life. And what that does is that enables you for the rest of your life, even if you leave SkillStorm 2 years later, you have access to all of those certification courses for free. So if you add it up, if you took every one of those certification courses from us, that's about a $23,000 value. Okay. So I just want you to know that, as a company, we believe that uh, the IT field is kind of like the medical field, right? New software is always coming out. You have to keep up to date on things, always learning new things. And we're big believers in that. So just because you learned a tech stack from our training team to get to go on site, we want you to continue to learn, continue to add to your portfolio of knowledge so that you make yourself more and more valuable to other customers. That's it. That was my last bit.
That was great, John. Just going over the resources and the benefits of SkillStorm and what they have to offer. So now I'll open it up for Q&A. If you would like to come off mute, I'll give you the ability to do so. You'll use the raise your hand function. I'll take you off mute. But if you do have a question, go ahead and enter those questions into the chat. I do see we have some questions there. So while you are getting your questions together, I do want to let you know this is a great time to network with students and with your peers in the chat. So if you would like to drop your LinkedIn profile into the chat to connect, that is always a great opportunity there. And you may never know, you might be in a cohort with one of your peers, and you get to talk about the time that you met with John and spoke with them on this session. So we do have some questions here. Let me
Hank, I did see one question and I'll answer that right away in case there's some undergrads that are in the audience. Unfortunately, we do not have summer internships. So I just want to make sure everybody realizes that everything we do, you do need a bachelor's degree. You do need to know how to code well. So most of the time it's a computer science degree. Um, and by the way, when I say you have to know how to code well, that's in an OOP language, meaning either Python, C++, .NET, or Java. Because if you don't know it well, you're not. I'll be 100% honest with you. You're probably not going to make it through the tech screen if you don't have those qualifications.
Well, that's great to know. We do have one question from Rohan. What about cybersecurity? How often do you see cybersecurity roles come through SkillStorm and cohorts?
Um, I like to be 100% transparent. Um, and I am not doing this to uh, pop the cyber balloon in anybody's dreams. I've been at SkillStorm for 5 years. I think we've had one cohort for cyber. And I will tell you that is um, an ongoing problem in the cyber community. The cyber community, the IT community itself is very difficult because, like, even if you look at USA Jobs, which is all the jobs the U.S. government has available, if you look at an entry level job in IT for the U.S. government, one, they need you to have a bachelor's degree, and the second thing is they consider entry level 3 years experience. In the cyber field, the cyber, you read all these magazines, you read Wired, you read different magazines, you read about all the news about the CEM out in Las Vegas and all this different things, the consumer electronics shows and all this. And cyber people always say, oh, we're so short of people. There's a 500,000 job openings, there's 900,000 empty positions in cyber, which is true. The problem is the cyber community thinks entry level is 5 years of experience. And so there's this huge disconnect between what the cyber community thinks is entry level and what everybody else thinks it is. And so again, I'm not here to burst anybody's bubbles. If you're dead set on the one thing I can recommend, and this has got nothing to do with SkillStorm, okay? Like I said at the beginning, I've been doing this for 12 years, and if you've just got general job search questions, I'm happy to answer them because the worst thing in the world is to be underemployed. The second worst thing in the world is to be unemployed, right? But the thing is that um, if you're majoring in cyber, don't don't be afraid. Just make sure that you're very, very open-minded when you're coming into the job search. In other words, take the take whatever you can do to enter the IT field. And then once you get into the IT field, now the football's been handed off to you. Now run with it, right? But the problem is getting your foot in the door. Get your foot in the door and then prove, even if you have to start. I mean, just entry level, really entry level, maybe on a help desk, right? You work yourself up to help desk level 2, and then you work yourself up to help desk level 3, and then you network with inside the company, and you go like, look, I majored in cyber, I got a master's degree in cyber or whatever, and then you try to work your way over there, because if not, you're going to be on the outside looking in for a while unless you have a very rich uncle that can get you an interview.
I like that information about networking and just getting in the door. So sometimes it's a little difficult to get in those roles that you might be looking for, but even just taking the chance to get in with the
Right.
company and
And
learning.
and and
net-
to piggyback off that, Anthony, is that um, everybody, I'm sure, you've heard the career services people and some of your professors have said to you, networking is so important, and it is to find work. All right. And network as much as you can. There is nobody at your church or synagogue or mosque or anybody, your doctor or dentist or anybody that you commute with or in school with or any of your relatives who shouldn't know that you're looking for work. Okay. Don't be everybody you know, literally, physically. The guy who is fixing your car, he ought to know that you're looking. You don't know who his father is. You don't know who his uncle is. He might say, "Hey, this really good guy. I've known him for 3 or 4 years. He's looking for work. He just graduated in WGU with a computer science degree. Network your butts off." Okay. However, once you do get work, like let's say you come to SkillStorm and you end up in San Antonio at Ernst& Young, guess what you're going to do? You're going to network with inside the company. Now you're going to network inside. You're going to say hello to everybody you can say hello to at the cafeteria, everybody on the elevator, everybody in the parking lot, because you don't know. Maybe you're going to be there for 2 years, and all of a sudden, the line manager you've been working for says, "Oh man," he said, that contract ended. We don't know what we're going to do." And somebody that you've built a rapport with over the past 2 years, maybe it's talking to them about the San Antonio Spurs. I don't know, but the thing is that you built up a rapport. They know what you do, right? Because you've been talking to them and on and off for 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there for 2 years, that all of a sudden they go like, "Ooh, you know what? We're short people. What is it you do?" And then all of a sudden you end up staying with the company because you networked within the company. Okay. So don't think that networking stops just because you get a job. It continues all of the time until you retire.
Great. And then I want to let you know that as far as LinkedIn, I'll be adding John's LinkedIn to connect with him if you have any other additional questions afterwards. I'll also drop that in the chat here a bit. But one other question, we have a couple questions here, so I want to make sure we get
Sure.
through them. As far as other opportunities, it looks like someone asked, is there an opportunity? Have you seen them in Denver, Colorado, or in Colorado in general? Excuse me.
I think we've gotten work in Colorado one time, um, since I've been at Skillstorm. Um, so again, that's why we kind of preach, and I'm sure that the that Hank and the people he works with in the career services area at WGU probably are the same way. That if you're relocatable, you're opening up yourself to many more opportunities than if you tell me I got to stay in Denver. And believe me, we understand. Sometimes people have family events that are going on, or there's something in your life that you can't um, relocate. We understand that. Um, but the problem is that that's not where the work is. And so it's, I guess what I'm saying is like, I can't promise you anything. I don't like these new cohorts that we might be getting in the next 14 days, business days. I don't know where they're at. I mean, if I knew where they were at, I'd be able to tell you. I'd love to tell you, but I don't. So but that's the nice thing, as I said at the beginning, before you even accept the offer letter to start the training, you're going to know the location, where it's at, the client, and also the tech stack. So if all three of those don't mesh for you, you can eat. Guess what? It's easy to say no.
Yeah.
But what
And
we don't want to do is have somebody go through all the training and then go all of a sudden, they're supposed to go to San Antonio and they go, I don't want to go. Then we got a problem. Then everybody's upset. You're upset, meaning the individual that just went through the training. We're upset. Our customers upset, and so that's why we tell you up front where it's going to be.
yeah. And I know some of the opportunities that we have shared out in the past, it is a mixed batch. So I know Texas comes up, like Houston and Dallas.
Yeah, Houston,
DC.
Dallas, San Antonio seem to be the
Yeah,
three big areas.
so
Yep.
yeah, so if you're an IT major and you're looking for opportunities, I do send those out regularly based on region. So definitely be on the lookout for those, or continue to check Handshake or the careers page that I'll add in for SkillStorm and email.
And
Uh,
for
yep.
those that are graduates and meaning they're computer science grads from WGU and they're interested, And by the way, even if you're not interested in the data engineering for the March cohort for San Antonio, send me your resume anyway, because what we'll do, the recruiting team will put your information into what we call future interest. Okay, so that 6 weeks from now, if all of a sudden we get three cohorts, we've already got your resume, and we know that. And by the way, when you send me your resume, and I just put my email into the chat, it's jtansel at skillstorm.com. Is that make sure you send me a note. Like I don't need I you don't have to be Shakespeare, okay? I don't need you to send me a book, but please give me two or three sentences about what you're looking for, what you're interested in, where you're willing to relocate to. When we say relocate, I don't need you to be able to relocate from Maine to San Diego and from Seattle to Miami. But if you could tell me it's got to be the Southeast, well, at least it gives me something to work with. Or if you tell me it's got to be the Northeast, to include DC, that's fine. Or if you tell me the Midwest or the Southwest, but to say that I've got to work in Fort Smith, Arkansas, or else I don't want to work for you, I can't help you.
Sure. Spencer asked, what about cloud computing? Do you guys offer any
Yeah, we
local?
oh we do a lot with the cloud. We have client a lot of AWS, a lot of Azure, which is Microsoft's cloud. I think it was about a year and a half ago we started teaching a little bit of Google Cloud. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we do have clients that ask for the cloud quite a bit. Nothing right now, but I mean we do.
All right. And I think Spencer asked about levels of experience. I think we already covered that. Is it a mixed range of experience that they're looking for or based on clients' needs?
It's based on the client. It's either one of two things. Your college degree, um, and maybe a little bit of experience, and then we have other clients that want 1 year of experience, 9 months to 1 year of experience. Nobody's coming to us and says we need 5 years of experience. They understand what our business model is. But it was in the past 18 months, Hank, that we had clients coming to us and they go, look, just because they just walked off a college campus, we can't use them. We need them to have 9 months to a year of experience in tech. And so we get it. And by the way, they're fairly lenient on what they consider tech. It's not you didn't have to be a programmer at Google, okay, to satisfy their what they consider being in tech for that 9 months to a year. If you were working at Best Buy in the Geek Squad, if you were, at T-Mobile and you were helping people set up their phones with all the apps and stuff like that, they consider that tech. They just want, to tell you the truth, I think they just want people that are so interested in tech that they're willing to do these odd jobs. So like I said, you didn't have to be a programmer, at Tesla, to be able to meet their parameters.
Okay. I got a question from Stan. Will you be able to hire Canadian citizens, have about 7 years of experience in data analytics field? Do you international?
I'd have to find out about that.
Okay. All right.
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say no, but I will definitely ask. I'll definitely ask the question for them. And a big reason is a lot of the work that our clients get, like I said, is with the U.S. government, and they have to be U.S. citizens. So, in order to pass the background check,
All right. And
but
so
but not, but again, I'll still ask.
yes, and Stan, I'll include his email in the his email address and his LinkedIn profile, so you can follow back up with John
Okay.
just to follow that. That works. All right. All right. Do we have? Oh, we do have a couple questions in here. So can you help us get different levels of clearances, and what are the levels of clearances that you're?
Usually, the levels are the very entry level on the just the government side, the non Department of Defense side. It's public trust or MBI. And then on the DoD side, it's usually just a secret clearance. Um, it's like we're not work. I mean, we're not working on anything that's top secret or anything like that. And the reason, by the way, the reason they want you to have the clearance is because you're working on databases, or you're working on servers uh, that have a lot of financial information in them about individuals. If it's a Department of Defense, you're working on, stuff where you have access to a lot of information that is private information, and they want you to have the secret clearance. And the same thing with the public trust. If you're working for the IRS, if you're working for, Deloitte at the IRS, as a SkillStorm consultant, you have access to a whole lot of financial information, obviously, if you're working at the IRS in their databases, right? And so because of that, they want to make sure that the people that are working there, have a squeaky clean background.
Gotcha. All right. So we do have a few more questions. I know we're coming up on time. So um, from Rohan, what is experience for them labs certifications?
Well, what's the experience level for the labs and certification, meaning for the certifications we teach to the different colleges? Yeah, we teach it as if you know nothing. All right. Now, for the actual training that we're going to go through for Tech Force by Design, no, you have to know how to code really well right from the beginning.
Gotcha. So with those cohorts, it's a little bit different based on experience, but with the certifications, when you're doing those on your own as a stormer, it kind of compares to where you're at as a
Right.
level. Great. And Samuel asked a question, please, how about DC area? Do clients in this area location? Can you elaborate on that question, Samuel?
It's the same. It's the same customers we have. I saw somebody asked, can we go to work for General Dynamics, MITRE, Lockheed, et cetera? We don't. I mean, actually, we have worked with General Dynamics a little bit, but Lockheed and MITRE, no. I wish we did, but currently we don't. Most of our work comes from those six big system integrators. Deloitte, EY, PwC, KPMG, um, Deloitte, Accenture, and Booz Allen.
Any other questions? We have a few minutes left. I'm going to take the time to go ahead and talk about our survey links. If you do have a moment, please um, take a moment and fill out our survey. It definitely gives us the opportunity to see where we did great at as far as our session planning for our career events, but also it allows us to know what you as students and alum are looking for as future sessions, either that being with employers or alumni. So please take a minute or two to fill out that. So just letting us know how we did. And yes, I will drop my info in the chat, Spencer. So, and I'll also include it here as well. If you give me a second, but we do have a minute or two, so I will open it up to see if anyone has any other questions. We have a lot of thank yous already in there for your time. So, Jared, thank you. Stan C, appreciate you for joining us, Stan. Thank you, Spencer and Jared. I'm definitely glad to see you guys attend our session. But just to kind of wrap up, definitely be on the lookout for any of our emails that are coming out here this week in regards to Career Quest. We have a number of sessions going on this month. This is just the first week of Career Quest. So if you do find yourself looking for a session or in a particular employer, check out our careers page. I'll drop that in the chat and also include some upcoming sessions and the follow-up email as well. Anything you would like to say, John, before
Yeah,
we
yeah.
close
Just
up?
well, just this. If you haven't graduated yet, um, when you do graduate, keep in touch, and then also make sure you uh, don't let Hank's emails from WGU go to your spam file. Make sure you read them because, like I said, Friday morning we might get two brand new demand signals from a client. We have two new cohorts we're trying to fill. And like I said, he's one of the first emails and phone calls I make, just because we love WGU. We like schools that are non traditional, because they graduate on a monthly basis. I don't have to wait until May. I don't have to wait until December if it's the fall to talk to graduates or anything. So um, it it's imperative for you all to stay in contact with Hank. The other thing is too, whether you come to Skillstorm or not, whether you liked what I had to say, if it didn't fit, what you're dreaming about, that's fine. That's why Hank has multiple people come and talk. And but I do wish everybody luck. Keep working hard, keep networking as much as you can. And then when you do first get your first job, keep networking both inside and outside of that company. Okay. Never stops till you retire.
I appreciate that, John. So that wraps up today's session. I want to thank everyone for joining us and inspiring some great questions, such great engagement for the chat. Like I mentioned, we will be sending out a recording of the session here shortly. It will include that short survey link. Please take time to fill that out. It also includes some information from John and SkillStorm. But a big thank you to John again at SkillStorm for joining us and always being a great partner for us to work with and host different sessions. Again, we have multiple sessions going on this month for Career Quest. Hopefully that you will have the opportunity to join some of those sessions. But until then, thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.
Thanks again for the invite, Hank. Appreciate it.
No
Bye bye.
problem. Thank
Good
you.
luck, everybody.